that biographical play about the Beatles, John, Paul, George, Ringo and Bert, which is a spectacular success in London, owes much of its attraction to the performance of Barbara Dickson, a former folk singer from Fife, whose singing of over a dozen Beatles songs every night has changed the course of her life.
Well, I started singing for my supper when I was about 17, but I'd been singing for many years. I've always really liked singing ever since I was a small child. And I always had this secret desire to be a singer. I used to sing in the confines of my bedroom, in the hall, in the bathroom. And I wasn't given encouragement as far as singing was concerned by my parents, which I'm glad to say I didn't turn into one of these little tartan-clad children that occasionally you get at Highland Games and things. But they encouraged me to play the piano, which has transpired to be a very useful thing.
When you were singing there in the confines of your bedroom in Dunfermline, who were you? Was it Diana Durbin or Betty Grable? What kind of singer were you?
Well, it's very strange that you should say Diana Durbin, because my mother was always a great fan of hers and used to have lots and lots of 78s of Diana Durbin's songs from films, and I used to listen to them. I used to listen to a great cross-section, especially of my mother's records, a lot of opera and things, and also songs I learnt at school, all that sort of stuff. And I was a great Doris Day fan. When I was about 7, I used to sing all the songs from Calamity Jane from beginning to end, like 2 sides of an LP.
And did you do this at parties, at family parties?
Never. I was always painfully shy when I was a child about singing. It was all very secret, I might say, at that time.
So at 17 you launched yourself on Dunfermline.
Well, what happened was I went to a local folk club, and I went with some friends, and in fact I probably may still have never got up if it hadn't been for them, because at that time in folk clubs in Scotland somebody used to always get up every week and say, if anybody would like to sing, give their name to me and they can get up and sing. And this is in fact what my friends did. I didn't give my name, they did. They gave my name and I got up and sang. And I went every week to the folk club then, and then started to get bookings.
Presumably the folk audiences at that time had very Catholic tastes and wanted traditional music.
I would say that I learnt a lot from, especially working with small groups of people, as opposed to the amount of people I'm playing to now, which is about 1,000 a night. But at that time I was working to small amounts of people per occasion, and could see the whites of everybody's eyes and could see how they responded towards what I was doing. And obviously there's a very nice informal feeling there, and you can learn, I think, quite easily and smoothly, really, how to communicate with people when you can see them and communicate with them as closely as that. You can't really lie to them. You can't really kid them when you're that close to them, I don't think, anyway.
And is this important to you?
Yes, very, very important. I've never really seen the point in playing songs that I don't like, or doing anything musical for the wrong reasons. I'm very, very happy doing what I'm doing now. I'm very glad to say, and it's entirely different to what I've done in the past. But for the same reasons, I feel as if I'm communicating with people. And that is the reward for me, is to feel at the end of the evening that I've got through to people.
Are you capable of, in your mind, making the sort of separation between the musical expression of the song and the dramatic performance of it, almost as an actress?
Well, I would say that I've always been a singer who's been very involved with the emotional side of what I'm singing about. It's very important to me, the lyrical content of a song. So if I'm actually singing a song which has a story or has some great emotional message or something to say, then I will act it out, but it's not really coldly performing it. It is something that I have to feel. If I don't feel it for the song, then I won't sing it in the first place. So both things are very, very tied up and intertwined, I find. There's got to be something there. I mean, there's got to be something in the words and the melody which will attract me to a song. But then again, just the feeling of the song can be right. I mean, I couldn't say that it has to be about a specific subject, or it has to be a narrative song, or a ballad, or a love song. I don't gravitate towards any particular kind of song at all. It's just if the song takes my fancy, or it's well written, or is special in any way to me, then I will sing it.
Yes, you said that you are really, at least I think you said that what you are doing is you're really transferring your emotional reaction to the song to the audience through your performance of it.
That's right. I've always really enjoyed being an interpretive artist anyway, because until quite recently I haven't been a writer of any sort. But I've enjoyed interpreting songs because it's a challenge, because other people have done it before, or you can add your own little dimension to it. And that's what I enjoy.
And you're now writing songs. What are you trying to do in writing songs? Are you translating personal experience or what?
I'm trying to write myself a single at the moment, actually, because I've decided that that would be a good thing for me to write, that none of this kind of introverted, self-indulgent thing, you know. I'm going to write myself a single. Whether it works or not remains to be seen, but that's what I want to do.
Are you going to be a Scottish Carole King, perhaps?
Oh, don't call me a Scottish anybody, please. Let me be a Scottish Barbara Dickson.
No, you know what I mean, though. Is it likely to be that kind of music?
Well, no, I'd like to go back to guitar playing a bit, you know, because I've been playing all piano in the Beatles show, and I would like to go back to playing a bit of guitar, and also keep the piano as really the prominent instrument in what I'm doing, but also sing with a band without instruments, this sort of thing. There's a kind of rigid thing about being a piano player, unless you're somebody like Elton John, who wears massive platforms and dances all over the room while he's playing the piano. You've got to be somebody who, I think, can get up and leave the security of the keyboard, you know. People are inclined to hunch over the keyboard and not move at all. I like it, you know, to think of myself as having a little bit of life about me now and again.
The Beatles show has obviously been a vastly different experience for you. What sort of effect has it had on you?
Oh, I think just about the greatest sort of musical experience that's come my way. And I wouldn't, because it was such a surprise. Well, I knew it was a good show when I read the script, but I didn't realise how big it would become. But I'm glad it has become as big as it did, because it's the music, of course, is good because it's well-written music and it's quite well-known music. But it's given me a chance once again to interpret something, so a kind of music which has been very dear to my heart all through the years. I mean, I've always been the arch Beatle fan of all time, apart from Kenny Everett. And I just love the Beatles and their music, and I'm fortunate enough to have been given a really good batch of songs to interpret. I think there's a great factor in its success has been the nostalgia thing, because I think although people say it's a bit early to remember the Beatles because they've only been gone for 3 or 4 years, that isn't really true, because they had such an enormous impact on music that it's good to remember them even now, and I think this play treats them with some sensitivity, which I'm glad to say.
How long, once you've got a song and decided to sing it, how long do you have to work on it before you're happy with it?
It depends on how enthusiastic I am about it. If I'm really enthusiastic about it, then I'll do it very quickly, because everything just falls into place and I'm full of ideas about how to do it. But if it's a difficult song, or if it does prove a little bit more troublesome than I feel it will at the beginning, then it might take me, I couldn't say time-wise how long.
Have you an ideal backing? I mean, ideally, do you just prefer a single instrument? Or?
No, I now that I've worked within the sort of the electric band context, well, I would certainly like to work with a bass player, a drummer, and a guitarist.
And yourself at the piano.
And play piano,
yes.
and I think that's my ideal setup, because it's so nice. I've always liked the kind of group idea, but never managed to get it organised completely. But I particularly like the idea of singing and having a really strong musical backing from other people.
And
they also inspire me. I play much better if I'm playing with other people anyway.
do you keep it very rigid, or are you still capable of being flexible?
Well, yes, I like to think I'm flexible in the way I perform. I obviously am affected by what's going on around me when I'm playing. But I think that if I was having a particularly good night with a good audience and my band was good or something, then I would be undoubtedly more flexible than if those things weren't happening.
What do you feel, Barbara, about the labels that other people put upon music? Classical music, popular music, light popular, folk, traditional folk, contemporary folk. It gets a bit tedious, doesn't it?
Well, it does. I don't mind. I don't mind if they put labels on the music. It's when they put labels on the musicians that it really irritates me. That you're not allowed to move from one to the other or anything like that without cries of somebody selling out or something like that. And it really got absurd when every week used to open the music papers and be things like soft rock and hard rock and country folk and folk rock and God knows what else. I mean, that got really stupid, but they've stopped that now, I'm glad to say. The late 60s, everybody went through this great sort of search yourself kind of thing, you know, the meditation bit and all of that. And music did become a lot more serious then. And it was suddenly realised that the record-buying public and the people who go and watch concerts could actually take serious music without rushing out and shouting boring at the top of their voices, you know, that they could actually take and enjoy it and love it, just like people who've been devotees of classical music have over the years. And also I think that's a bit of a sort of sock in the eye for people who have always called pop music a load of nonsense. It's very good to see. And I think it probably the late 60s, and once again, let me just say that the Beatles must have had a great effect on people's attitude to pop music as being more serious than it had ever been before.
What disciplines do you have to apply to your own writing? Are you trying very hard not to be imitative?
Well, yes, I'm trying desperately to not be imitative, but I've worked with songwriters in the past, and say somebody like Rab Noakes, who's a particularly good songwriter, and it's always been difficult to write with somebody like Rab Noakes, you know, that you know really well, because he was turning out very, very good songs, and I always thought, I've got a chance of writing, because he was so prolific. He used to write all the time. And I've come to the conclusion now that if I want to write anything, I must sit down and work at it, because I'm not an intuitive writer at all. I've really got to work very, very hard. But I'm enjoying it.
After all this, after the Beatles, what next? Where are you going from here?
I would like ideally to be singing concerts, because I like singing live very, very much. And I actually think I'm better live than on record. That's been proved in the past, although I'm not so sure how this new album's going to be. I think that I enjoy delivering songs with the full force of the enthusiasm of an audience behind me. Then I will sing and work much harder. And that really just about is my ideal situation, to be able to play to a lot of people per night within a sort of theatre environment where, you know, it's a nice quiet place to play. There's no sort of rattling of beer bottles and things in the background. And you can really get at it, get weaving, and sing whatever songs that I want to sing, I'll be able to sing them.
Will you sing traditional music again if the opportunity presents itself?
Well, I could sing traditional music at any time, but the thing is that I've sung traditional music for a long time, and I'm just having a go at something completely different now, something I haven't done before, and I think it's very wise to move on all the time. But my love of traditional music, it will remain with me always.
Have you ever considered getting it trained, as they say?
No, never. Because I'm not saying, I'm not criticising voice training, but it certainly doesn't help any sort of spontaneity or emotion to come through in the voice, because they train all that out of you. I'm not sure if I really approve of that. My music teacher at school in Dunfermline always used to say to me, well, Barbara, you're certainly not the best singer in the class, but you're the loudest singer. And to me, that was the greatest of praise. I reckon that was really very, very nice of him to say that.